Hello, everybody. We are in our sassy apartment on the Upper West Side, and we're here to talk about A Day Without Us. Who am I, you're asking? I'm Seth Rudetsky. Next to me, I have her name, Tiffany Flowers. Hey.
Hey, Seth.
Next to Tiffany is Leslie Mack. I love your makeup brand.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
And next to Leslie is Broadway star Javier Munoz.
Hello, everybody.
So I guess my first question, Javi, why we're bookending Broadway-wise? Because you're the one who asked us to do this. How did you get involved with A Day Without Us?
Well, it's kind of a long journey. My activism speaks for itself. I've been at this pretty fiery for a number of years, and I've made a lot of contacts and gotten to know a lot of people in different arenas in terms of action and efforts and activism. And there was one particular person who wanted to connect me to these two incredible, brilliant minds. And as soon as I just got some of the material of check out, their Twitter, The Day Without Us on Twitter, check it out on Instagram. And as soon as I just read through some of the content, I was like, I have to absolutely get in touch with them. So we planned a Zoom, and we got to meet over, like everyone did during lockdown. We did the normal Zoom meeting, and I was so inspired by not just the effort, but your passion. You just absolutely so focused passion, and that gets me every time. Right, because then I can't say no to that. so that's the rest
song
is history.
from Hamilton, by the way. By the way, speaking of Zoom, we all took COVID tests, so no judging us for not having masks.
No.
We all took it. So by the way, so everyone's saying what the H is A Day Without Us. Why don't you tell us?
I'm going to let Leslie take that one. Go ahead, friend.
Absolutely. So A Day Without Us, first of all, it is Friday, September 30th. And what it is really is a day that we're asking folks to step away from business as usual, step away from work, step away from school as best that they can, and join us for a virtual teach-in that's really focused on the concept of reproductive justice, which is a framework developed by 12 incredible Black women in 1994. And they developed this really in the face of, they were at a large women's conference in Chicago. And the Clinton administration showed up and said, we're going to cut all these health care that is specifically meant for Black women, for poor women. And these 12 women got up, they left the floor, they went to a hotel room, and they sat down and they created the concept and framework of reproductive justice.
That's the Hyde Amendment you're talking about, right?
No, this included the Hyde Amendment, but that's not what, this was a large scale
even worse
stripping. Worse. It was a large scale stripping of healthcare. And so what they came up with was this notion of this idea that we do not live, as our ancestor, Audre Lorde says, we do not live single issue lives. And so we cannot go about this work in a way that pretends that we live single issue lives. We are all connected to each other. Our movements affect each other. And so the idea of reproductive justice is that we have to come together and get out of these silos. And so A Day Without Us is really a love offering from 7 Black women across movement spaces to say, come join us. Learn about reproductive justice, learn about how you can tap into the work that's happening locally, especially where you are. We are not asking anyone to fly to DC or go to New York. No, all of this work is local. And so we want to keep people local, connect them with local organizers, local organizations. And that's what's going to happen during the day, so that we have a virtual teach-in. We're going to have some really amazing conversations.
Where are we going to see this virtual teach-in?
So you can go right to daywithoutus.com, scrolling on the screen there, folks. It's very easy to find. It'll also be on our Facebook page. It'll also be on our Twitter. And lots of our amazing partners like Move On and Women's March and lots of other folks will also be posting it as well. And so that's country between 10 to 15 pop-up events that are going to be happening in the afternoon and evening. And those events are really exciting. It's really about bringing people into community together. And so there's a wide variety. Some folks are doing voter registration. Some folks are doing joy nap installations.
Wait, what?
Yes, they're just going to
Napping
rest
is
together.
resistance.
It's a
Nap
ministry,
as
okay?
resistance.
It's resistance out
Join the
here.
church.
Sleep.
Oh my God, you know I'm
Okay.
Jewish. Join the synagogue.
The
Keep
nap.
going.
Yes, that's right. That's right. we have our amazing corporate partner, Ben & Jerry's, who is providing ice cream for
Love them.
so many of our pop-ups, and they're calling them ice cream socials, which stands for community rules everything around us. So people are going to be having fun and having ice cream and connecting directly with these organizations, learning how they can lend their time, talent, and treasure to the work that's
And then
happening.
how are you both involved? How are you involved?
Leslie and I are part of the core founders of this. This idea came after the Dobbs decision dropped, and we were in a text thread actually with other Black women organizers. And
Were there any words you can say in public, or just?
is my mom watching? Yeah, you know, they say everything's not for the timeline. So
Understood.
exactly. And we decided, again, like Leslie said, it's a love offering. We're organizers, and this group of 7 of us work across the movement. So our phones were ringing nonstop. What can we do? Where do we go? Who can we trust? And we said, who better than us to put it together and give it to the folks? And like Leslie said, so many amazing partners came together, and it's just been the experience of a lifetime. And we hope that folks will get juicy bits, nuggets. You know, we're with March for Our Lives, we're with Black Voters Matter, Black Men Build, Move On, Working Families Party, Survivors Know, Me Too. There's so many places that we're gonna give you an on-ramp.
So hold on. What I love what you guys were saying was how everything is connected, because I want to go, what does reproductive freedom have to do with climate change? So can you talk about that, please?
Yes, please.
I absolutely can talk about that. They are very directly connected.
Thank you.
What we see, is we see reproductive health affected by those who are most affected by climate change at the exact same rate. So what we watch is those that are in lower land masses, lower areas, they are experiencing the same. First, they're the first people to experience climate change, and they're also on the front line of reproductive justice as well.
And reproductive justice teaches us like a very valuable lesson about the choices we get to make, right? And so it teaches us that we decide how we use our bodies, and we decide if we want to be parents. And if we are parents, then we have a very reasonable expectation that the child that we bring into the world lives in a safe home, in a safe neighborhood, drinks clean water, breathes clean air, has an opportunity to live a full and fruitful life, regardless of what the people that birthed it look like and where they come from.
These are all basically liberal values, and you're basically saying vote blue because basically every single issue is covered with what you're talking about. So it's not just one thing. I love what you were saying is like, you know, if you're going to decide to carry the child to full term, then all these things should be assumed. And what happens is there are a lot of people that are like, quote unquote, you know, anti-abortion, but then as soon as the baby is born, peace out.
Right. It's anti-abortion, anti-life in reality.
Exactamundo.
Right. And that's the real crux of the conversations we all started having in the group chat. Some of us are mothers. One of us literally found out she was pregnant when the Dobbs decision came down.
Wow.
And so we feel very, very personal and passionate about this, which Javier mentioned earlier, because this affects us. It affects our lives, affects our nieces, affects our nephews, it affects our cousins, it affects our communities. And we just knew we had to do something. And this felt like a good way to help people start exercising their mass mobilization muscle without a lot of risk on their part. Tiffany has taught me, since we've been working together over the years, that the biggest obstacle to getting people to organize is fear. And so this day is meant to get rid of the fear. We are in this together. And so if we're together, you don't have to be afraid.
And knowledge is the way that you're going to do this. It's just through the sharing of information is to sort of, how do we say, like embolden everyone with the power they may not know that they have.
We're sharing information and we're taking the step together, right? So nobody has to go alone. We have tools on the website. If you are able to take the day to use a letter for your employer that gives you actual language about why this is actually your inalienable right. Language for you to talk to people in your home who may not be politically aligned with you, but you feel brave. Seth, you're going to roll them eyes on.
I'm so thankful that does not affect me.
Ooh.
They would be out of my damn family. Keep going.
Same. But, you know, all of us are not that lucky yet. And so, but again, if we're not scared and we feel like we're doing it together, it's one step that we're taking together. And I just want to give a shout out right now to you, Javier, because you got it right away. It was not a difficult conversation. Javier, through his activism, immediately saw what we were trying to do. I don't want to get emotional, but I just appreciate the folks at home who are watching and don't know all the things Javier did to get us here tonight, to make sure, A, that he could get this information to you, but to also share the platform, share the audience, share the space. So I just really, Javier, I want to thank you for the easy conversation. We had a half an hour. I think we were on there for like an hour because it was like Brooklyn and grandmas and, who I could call. And just literally, you immediately went into action and started making lists of people. And you mentioned Seth. And I mean, it just, thank you. Thank you for the platform, the space, and just the easy combo.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Truly.
One of the things I remember you really connected with was another goal that we have for the day, which is to really demystify a lot of these concepts that exist within organizing spaces. I mean, Tiffany and I, even you, Javier, we're like eyeball deep in this stuff 24/7. And so sometimes it can feel like, I'm going to throw out some jargon, some words, some language that is not accessible to the average person. And so a lot of the conversations we're going to be having on Friday are really about making sure that our neighbors, that our cousins, that our nephews, that our aunts and our uncles, that they will understand what we're talking about, and that we will decomplexify, demystify all of these concepts, because this is affecting all of our lives. And if you feel like it's not acceptable to you, you tend to shy away. You step back and you think, it's for somebody else. And what we're saying is, and I'm quoting Tiffany once again, the doors of the movement are wide open, friends. Wide open, just waiting for you. They're waiting for you locally where you live, and waiting for you nationally with national organizations, and obviously here on all four of these stools as well.
That's right.
Well, what I love is when you said that we were having cheesecake before, but you're saying how every single issue is connected and every organization should be together. And you said how the other side, a lot of them hate each other, but they all come together. Our side has to be together. And devastatingly, there was an article in the New York Times talking about how the Women's March, basically the conservatives tried to separate the Women's March and people in it. So we can't be separated, right? I mean, how can you guys help that? How can you help you guys? Sorry, that's old school. But how can we all help be connected?
Again, I mean, this idea of reproductive justice actually speaks exactly to that framework, like we were saying at Cheesecake, right? Leslie has taught me, if you are working on climate and you aren't thinking about voting, you're leaving your work behind. If you're working in labor and you're not thinking about repro justice, you're leaving your work behind. We have to absolutely see that they are in lockstep. It's like there was a line on The Wire. They said, if it's a lie, we're going to stand on that lie. And that should be the actual GOP motto, right? If it's a lie, they're going to stand on that lie. They're going to live that lie. They're going to repeat that lie. And there's no turning. And now we're at the point with misinformation that it doesn't even matter if you can expose the truth. So the least that we could do is work together to arm our people with the truth, share definitions, and help people understand how we have to fight together to survive.
Yep. I was just going to bring up the intersection of everything, because I really want, my hope is that all of you watching out there take a moment to check out the website, read through all of the links, or even just some of the links, and see the many ways the things you care about specifically intersect with everything that we're talking about now, and that there isn't one that's left out of this effort. It all comes together, and we're focusing on reproductive rights because of what's just happened, but every single effort is tied together.
Yeah, it is. And I know we mentioned the Hyde Amendment earlier. The reason why we chose September 30th, one is it's the 46th anniversary of the Hyde Amendment. And for those who don't know what the Hyde Amendment is, it's a bill that makes it impossible for anyone who has government-sponsored health care to receive abortion care and abortion access, even if their life is in danger, even if they could die as a result of not having an abortion. So at 46 years, we have been living with this. And so when people say, like, Roe, we lost Roe, my answer always is a lot of us never had Roe. A lot of us never had Roe ever. And so, I dream of a day where we talk about Roe as a floor, and we build a new ceiling. And so that's really like the long-term goal around reproductive health. But the reproductive justice piece of it is about living our lives in ways that we're not just out here surviving, but we really get to thrive together in community with each other.
Can we please enjoy our lives? Okay, so let me ask you. I know there are people watching that are like, wait, I have to go to work. Wait, I have to go to school. I guess I'm going to fade out on the whole thing. What can people do without fading out?
Please don't. We've been waiting for you, and you don't have to. We understand. Listen, as much as we talk about intersections, we have to be honest about privilege. And every one of us lives at a different level of privilege. And I'm able to take the day off of work with no recourse and join this action. And there are many people who will not be, for economic reasons, for immigration status reasons, for safety reasons in your home, and things that I may not know about and you may never speak of. But we didn't forget about you. We didn't. And so what we're going to leave on our website for you is the broadcast of the day. You'll be able to go back and look at all the programming. You'll be able to get those very definitions. You'll be able to watch those conversations that we spoke of. And every single thing that the live viewers see will be there for you to come back and watch. We've also put a lot of energy and intention into collecting information for you from across the movement. So when we say, if you're not thinking about climate, if you're thinking about climate and you're not thinking about labor, there's a whole section there on definitions on what it means to organize and the different kinds of organizing. So we know that this is not possible. We know that this is a first step. This is an invitation. This is an opportunity. We still see you as our brothers, our sisters, our family, and our comrades in this fight and in this moment. So just know that we understand and we have not forgotten about you.
And also just think out of the box. If you can't take off on Friday, we totally understand. But as Tiffany said, things will be in replay. So the next family dinner you have, pull your computer up. Right. Let's have everybody watch together. The next movie night you have planned, let's start with this as the first thing that you watch before you put on the next movie. Exactly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, let's say someone's watching, they're like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. What's like the most important thing they can do? Just follow you on social? Like, what's the one thing people can do that can like at least make a difference?
I would say go to our website and poke around because there's already lots of information there. You can learn about all of our partners. That's where the juicy bits are. It's not us, the organizers. It's the strength of the partners and all of the people who've come into this moment. So it's there for you. Go now and learn a little bit. Go back on Friday and get more information. Share the website and, of course, the social media. But I would say if you want to know where the meat is, that is where we're going to hold it and save it for you. That's where we're building it. That's where we'll hold it. And that's where we'll save it.
Yeah, and I would just add register because then we'll have your information and be able to stay in touch with you and give you information from our amazing over 60 now national partners that we have and get information to you as things come up. Because what we know from talking with all of our, we had IG Live with Me Too today and with Move On and with Ben and Jerry's and V-Days coming up soon as well. So, all of these partners recognize the need for us to come together in this moment. And so register, go to daywithoutus.com, register to just, even if you can't come Friday, just register so we have your info. And then also check out hashtag daywithoutus on Twitter. We have a very special hashmoji that our amazing friends at Twitter made for us. Shout out to Twitter. We love them so much. Shout out to Goddess, shout out to Buki and their entire team. We just had to give y'all a shout out. We jokingly said, I've never seen an action like this have a hashmoji, so we were really excited that they came to the table and we're like, what do you want? We're like, we want this, and they said yes. And so sometimes, one of the things I've learned from this is like, ask people, talk to people, talk to the folks that you're in community with, talk to them about who they think you should be talking to. We got to meet and get to be friends with Javi because we know Elizabeth, and she's like, you need to talk to Javi. You need to talk to Javi. And so, organizing is that is what the core of organizing is. It's connection. It's connecting people. That's right. It's connecting people with action and connecting people with each other.
Please go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that couldn't be more right, and I'm just gonna reiterate the invitation, and this is how we actually open the doors of the movement, right? Because like you, that was one of the things we talked about when the decision dropped. What are we gonna do? People didn't know where to go. People didn't know who they could trust with, right? In this age of disinformation and organizations shifting priorities, people don't often know who to trust and where to go. And so that's the other invitation for everybody that's been searching for a place to plug in and a trusted source. Please go to the website because this is an offering for you.
I wanted to add, just for folks out there, because I'm already thinking of, friends that I have, family members that I have that do get overwhelmed by watching this stuff, and just to say, the website is so perfectly and beautifully organized. It's easy to access all of this information and just read and learn. Like, that's it. Like, it's not even about making a phone call right away or marching in the street. It's just go to the website, read some of this information, see how things land on you, what inspires you, what triggers and calls upon your heart and your mind to become active and just do something. And I always say this, no matter what it is, no matter what the event, no matter what the cause, no effort is too small.
My God.
Every single effort matters.
That's right.
So even just going to the website to give yourself information is a great action. So it can just, start there and keep going.
Javi, I can't stress that enough because that's another part of the offering, right? Everybody's not going to be Katniss Everdeen. Right. It's just not.
I'm not going to be Katniss Everdeen. I just wanted to be clear on that point.
Everybody's not holding the megaphone, right? Everybody's not marching. Everybody doesn't feel comfortable or safe or have the ability, the physical ability. But we always need people to do something. We need sandwiches. People need rides. People need the signs to carry at the protest. People need a safe place to go. They need pickup. They need, and so
people need a basement studio. I mean,
come
just
on,
saying.
come on.
We need all of the things.
Literally the arts, the organizing in this moment, it's literally the one step. Elizabeth gave us the introduction. Javier took the step, and look at where we are with all of you tonight. And you could have been anywhere in the world, and you're here with us because of this invitation.
Yeah. And I wanted to quote Strike for Our Lives is another one of our national partners. Their symbol is a hummingbird. And they always say that every drop counts.
That's right.
And so it really made me think of that when you said that. They talk about how hummingbirds, they drink one drop at a time, but every drop counts to keep them moving. And it's the same about our movements. Every single drop counts.
I'll say three things. A, Javi and I are both in musical theater, and a musical does consist of so many people doing little tiny things to come together in one. So that's what it totally reminds me of. B, for those people over 40, Katniss is a reference to the Hunger Games. Okay? And C, out of the four of us, I'm probably the crankiest. You guys are so involved with activism. How do you stay so bright and sunny when, all I want to do is be like, oh my God, the world is falling apart. I'm so devastated. Why so happy?
First of all, we cry. I want to be. I want to be really, really real about that because people can often really romanticize the work that we do and make it seem as though it's all flowers and candy and cheesecake. But sometimes we get cheesecake. Where I find my joy is in spending time with people like Tiffany and like Javier and Seth. It's about the connections. That's where we find our joy. That's where our power sits, and it's where we're able to find our joy with each other. You're going to laugh a lot on Friday when you join us. Yes. I'm not joking when I tell you I've been witness to the conversations. The first conversation you're going to see is between Cliff Albright and Latasha Brown from Black Voters Matter and Judith Brown-Dianis from the Advancement Project. And when I tell you, I had to mute because I was laughing so hard at the conversation. And it was a very serious conversation, but also we bring joy to our work. If we don't have joy in this work, we can never succeed. And this is something that has always existed in movement spaces from the beginning of time. If we're talking about suffragettes, if we're talking about the civil rights movement, every movement knows that. That's why movement songs are important. It's why movement dances are important. It's why chants are important. All of this is culturally connecting us together. And that's where I find my joy.
I find my joy in my bee garden. Also, my husband and I have like you, we have a backyard and we put bees. Yeah, I can talk to you about that. And I garden, and I find a lot of joy in the camaraderie in the work, because you have to like be in love with the people that you work with because of the struggles that we go through all the time. And another line we always say, if the movement ain't got joy, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want an unjoyful movement. I don't want, because you know what that looks like? It looks like Charlottesville. It looks like them. That's what the lack of joy looks like in movement: anger and resentment, and moving from a place of pure unhappiness and disappointment with who you are. That's not me. So if this movement doesn't have joy, if we ever start looking like that, I'm out. Because if it ain't got joy, I don't want it.
No, I'm actually gonna hop on that too, because that really I found that somewhere in those years under the previous administration, I definitely found myself turning into just this one angry bomb, and it really the further I got into it, the more it reminded me that, like, the toll it was taking on me, but also I was ineffective. Right. It doesn't allow you to reach what it is that you're trying to fulfill. So I don't know. I think I agree with everything that you've said, but I also think it's for me, I really find joy in moments where I see the work changing someone's life. Yes. Like literally seeing someone being able to access a resource that they couldn't access before. Seeing or hearing a story about, the suddenly the thing that a mother, a father, a grandparent couldn't obtain, they have now, right? Or they've accomplished, like the actual tangible moments of change. Like that'll carry me for years, just to witness something like that, and that's why.
That's that "this is why we fight" moment, right? That's literally when we say "this is why we fight." You hear that phrase, and it takes you to every one of those moments. They play like vignettes
automatically
in your head, right? You're like, of course, this is why we fight. Yeah.
Okay, I love you guys. So my sweet husband James is producing from afar. James, is there anything I need to ask, or should we go right to our quote unquote song, which we were just talking about how songs are important? Oh my God. Okay, we have the video to show. Any background I should say before we show it?
No, well, I just wanted to say thanks again to our partners at Strike for America, who created this video. And again, this is just another instance of, I didn't tell them to create this video. What I said to them was, we need some support. If you have some hands to throw in and create some content, please do. And they really showed up for us. And so again, this is always about that. You ask, people show up, it's beautiful, and it makes you feel so good. So that's all I'll say about the video.
I just want to give a shout out, honestly, to Seth, to James, to Javi, because y'all did not have to have us in your house. You pulled this all together so quickly, and your support really means the world to us. So thank you. Thank you to the audience. And please, we want to stay in touch with you. So go to the website, give us your email. We won't spam you. We have actual full-time jobs outside of this too. We're actually organizers, so we don't have time to spam you. We just want to stay in touch.
When I tell you we don't have time to spam, we literally launched our Election Defenders program this week, Wednesday.
We don't have time to spam you.
Which, if you don't know, 2020, you probably saw us out in the streets with Busta Rhymes and with Neo bringing joy to the polls, and we are kicking things up for the midterm. So when Tiffany says we have day jobs, we really have day jobs.
Yeah, we have big day jobs.
They work hard for the minute.
Okay, video's coming up, and then a live song from Javi, a song from it's an up-and-coming show called Hamilton. All right, let's see the video first.
Thank y'all. Peace.
It seems like every day it's something else. A new regulation, a new law, a new assault on our rights, our liberties, our bodies. It's overwhelming. It can make you feel scared, and it can make you feel small. But it also makes you feel angry, strong, and determined. We're all asking ourselves the same question: what can be done? What can one person do in the face of all of this? Well, here at Strike for America, we believe the answer is simple: your part. In this fight, every drop counts. We can all contribute in our own different ways in this battle to save ourselves. Here at SFA, we seek to empower each person to tap into their own passions and natural talents in order to make changes in their own lives across the country and around the world. Like our friend, the mighty hummingbird here, we know it takes many drops to make a wave of change. So come join the Hummingbird Army. Help us put out the raging fires of oppressions all around us. Let's make it rain.
Created using Powtoon.
Get to that website ASAP. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And now we have Javier Munoz, who played the leading role, not only in In the Heights, Obsessed, but in Hamilton. Javi, is this going to inspire everybody to do A Day Without Us?
I think it will. I really think it will. I may not live to see our glory, but I will gladly join the fight. And when our children tell our story, they'll tell the story of tonight. Raise a glass to freedom, something they can never take away, no matter what they tell you. Raise a glass to the four of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us telling the story of tonight. Raise a glass to freedom, something they can never take away, no matter what they tell you. Raise a glass to the four of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us. They'll tell the story of tonight. They'll tell the story of tonight. They'll tell the story of tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Day Without Us. Go to the website. Do the hashtag. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.